Yeah, just about as groovy as a 10-cent movie. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and you're listening to Drama Talk Radio. Now, as you know, Drama Talk Radio is the show where the word drama, DRAMA, stands for developing real and moving art. We're so happy, pleased, and blessed that you're listening to this episode because I have with me a very exciting special guest today. He is a friend of mine. I met him through his wife several years ago, and he is a staple. I'm going to say he's a staple in Chicago area as far as the big band music sound. Please welcome to Drama Talk Radio, Pete Ellman. Welcome, Pete.
Hey, Calvin. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being here. I want to get right into it. I know that you, especially your family, have been involved in music in Chicago for a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Well, sure. I guess it all starts with my mom and dad. My dad was a musician in the Chicagoland area and decided to open a music store back in 1958. Before that, he was playing quite a bit and continued to play throughout my childhood. Did a lot of ballroom stuff. Had an opportunity to play with Lawrence Welk back in the day.
Wow.
And my mom was trained as a band director. So I came by music honestly.
Okay, so music pretty much runs through your veins and through your family as well.
For sure. Yep.
Okay. Now, I was reading a little bit in your bio, and of course, you have founded the Pete Ellman Big Band. You founded that in 2009?
Yep, 2009.
Okay.
And I was lucky. I decided to set it up as a not-for-profit. So I set it up as a 501c3 educational not-for-profit, which has given us an opportunity to do some things with the band. And maybe we'll get into that more later on. But because I'm a not-for-profit, I was able to apply for and get some grants to help with some of the projects that we work on.
Okay. And for those that don't know, the band has played regularly in the Chicago western suburbs at locations such as Mullins, which is in Lisle, Illinois, Fitzgerald's in Oak Park, Illinois. And for the last few years, you have done a Christmas program at North Central College in Naperville, Illinois.
And sorry,
yes,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It's been a lot of fun. That's with the Naperville Chorus. That's run by Pete Martinez. And we have been doing, I think we've done 5 shows there now. We were supposed to do this year, but unfortunately it got canceled because of the COVID.
Right. And that's a shame because I really was looking forward to that and hoping that even as a virtual presentation, you guys might have done something because the big band sound to me, is something that fills my soul. And around Christmas time, to hear the classics being brought, man, it just makes the season feel sunny and bright, if you will. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about that is some of the guys in my band write the arrangements each year that we do with the chorus. And, if it was just us, we're small enough that we might be able to do it and stay socially distant. But there's over 100 people in that chorus. So it's too large for us to be able to do it and stay socially distant. And I don't know that anybody had enough time to put together 150 people playing together and putting that together. I've seen a lot of smaller groups put stuff together, but that would have been a lot. That'd be a long project.
Right.
So I think we were really hoping that things were going to be better with the COVID situation before that time, but hopefully next year we'll be back.
Yes, and hopefully next year, if you do have the opportunity to come back, I will definitely get my tickets in advance, and I will be there front row center on that Saturday night.
Awesome. Yeah, it's Saturday. I think we've done Saturday and Sunday. So it's a Saturday night and a Sunday afternoon performance. So
Right,
it's always, it's usually the first weekend in December as well. So,
right. And I'm sure beside myself, a lot of the locals in Naperville and beyond are missing you guys this year. But we definitely understand, what's going on. So besides that project that you do yearly at North Central College, you also work with children. You have a foundation or a workshop that you do with children. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
well, first of all, each week we've been playing at La Quinta de los Reyes, which is a Mexican restaurant, great food in Aurora. And each week when we play there, we have student groups open for us. And we'll provide clinicians to work with them sometimes if they'd like, but they get an opportunity to play in a situation that's more like a gig than, playing in their school auditorium. So they get to play for strangers in front of strangers, playing music that I love and I think they come to appreciate. And then they get to listen to us play after they're done. So we do that each week. In addition to that, we also have the Naperville Big Band Jazz Festival,
Right.
which hopefully will be our sixth year. Last year would have been our sixth year, but we got canceled because of COVID. It was supposed to be March 14th. And this year we're looking, I don't know if it'll work out in March. And if not, we're hoping to have it outdoors in late May or early June. So I'll keep you posted with that. But that
Excellent.
we have different groups. We have different student groups from all over the Chicagoland area come. And we've had groups come as far as Iowa to join us for that. And it's a
Okay.
lot of fun.
Okay. Fantastic. Now you mentioned the youth groups, and of course, big band was really popular. Probably 50, 60 years before some of them were even born. How
Right.
how have you managed to create that bridge from when big band was popular to what the children listen to in this current era?
Well, that is, I don't do that much. I just promote the music. And I think with anything, if you hear good music and you hear great people playing it, like if you're walking down the street and you hear a great string quartet, people will stop and listen because it's great. And that classical music's been around a lot longer than jazz. So I think when we first started playing, we played at a place called Jilly's downtown Naperville, and they would open up the windows there, and people would gather on the sidewalk outside just to come and listen to us. So I think when you hear good music, you appreciate it, no matter what the style is. As far as the getting kids into it, almost all of the high schools in the area and most of the junior highs now have big bands already. So we just provide. Uh, when I was growing up, there was bands like Maynard Ferguson, Count Basie,
Hmm.
like that were traveling around, and you could go see them live. Those groups aren't around anymore. There's very few. The Basie band still travels, but not nearly as much as they used to. And obviously, Count Basie's not with them anymore. But so it's hard for students to go out and see groups like that live. So we're trying to bridge that gap, bring the live music back, done by professionals, so the kids can hear how it's supposed to go.
Sounds good. And I've heard young people talk about music before their time as old school. A lot of them say, I don't want to listen to that. That's old school. But when you think about the instrumentation, the dedication to learning how to actually play music, to me, that is so much richer, so much, it brings so much to the culture than a lot of the electronic music that is popular today. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's great for young people to get involved in music, whether it's piano or violin or guitar or trumpet, trombone, clarinet, saxophone, anything like that. Um, it engages your mind in a way different than just listening to music. And, not everybody who starts playing an instrument is going to continue to play it for a lifetime. But I think it gives them an appreciation for what it takes to create music with a piece of brass or a piece of wood and make something beautiful. So I think it's great for kids to get involved, and hopefully it continues for a long time.
Absolutely. So, Pete, what instruments do you play?
Well, I can play pretty much any instrument. I can play Mary Had a Little Lamb on, or maybe Star Wars. But the only thing I usually play in public is trumpet.
Okay. Okay. And how did you go about finding the rest of the Pete Ellman Big Band? Was these
Oh,
connections that you made or people that you knew?
sure. That's a great question. Our band is comprised of professional musicians and educators. We have a lot of educators from local high schools and junior highs that play in the band as well. And I try to get as many educators involved as I can, because I think that it's great for them to have the opportunity to play. A lot of them don't have the opportunity to play in a big band setting with professional musicians anymore. That's when you get done with college, it's pretty hard to find a big band to play in anymore.
Right.
So that's so I try to get them involved, and that also gets them interested in bringing their students in to watch them perform, and then they'll bring their bands to perform and open for us as well. And then we have local professionals play with our group, and we have Roger Ingram, who's currently playing with us, and he's a phenomenal trumpet player. He toured with Tom Jones, played lead trumpet with Harry Connick Jr. for 20 years, and he's been now in the Chicagoland area, I think, for like 12 or 13 years, and we're very lucky to have him playing with us. And we have people like that in all of our sections of our band. And so it makes it a lot of fun, and it gives us an opportunity to play some really challenging music that we might not otherwise be able to play.
Fantastic. Now, you mentioned some nationally known artists, but you've played with some as well. I was looking at your bio and I saw the names of Wayne Newton, Bob Newhart, Aretha Franklin. Who are some others you played with?
It's hard to remember off the top of my head like this,
Okay,
but I
okay,
also played with Leonard Skinner.
okay.
That was I did that a couple times. Aretha Franklin. Let's see.
The
Uh,
Chicago Sinfonetta.
Sinfonietta, yeah, I played with them, and we did the Joffrey Ballet when I did that. That was a
Hmm.
fun show, auditorium theater.
Okay,
And I play a lot of musicals. I played in a lot of pit orchestras for musicals as well. And there's so many shows I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I really enjoy doing that. That's a lot of fun.
okay. Now, I mean, you can play anything. You said that, but it seems like you primarily played the trumpet. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay. So
I started. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was going to ask, who's your favorite trumpet player?
Oh, that's a great question. I started playing trumpet because of Louis Armstrong.
Mm,
I loved his personality and the way he played, and as when I got into playing trumpet, my dad started getting me some trumpet music, people that played trumpet to listen to on 8 tracks back in the day. But I remember I had an Al Hurt album that was really cool. Another, guy from New Orleans. I had Clark Terry is probably my favorite jazz player, and Maynard Ferguson. His big band kind of popularized uh, big band music back in the day. I mean, he would tour. He would be in the Chicagoland 3 or 4 times a year when I was in my early teens through my early 20s. They were touring all the time. And they did things like MacArthur Park and Theme from Rocky. And he would take some standard things that were, like vocal charts and adapt them for big band. And he would do really well with those, as almost as well as the artists did when they first released them. So That was, I think, uh, as far as trumpet playing, like when I was a kid, Maynard Ferguson was not the first one, but he's something that kind of kept me going with trumpet back then.
Okay, great. Now, the Pete Ellman Big Band has hosted a lot of fundraisers, different events to raise money in this local area. Can you tell us about some of the ones that you've um, joined forces with?
Oh, sure. What we've done is we've helped out Toys for Tots, Loaves and Fishes are a couple of the really cool things that we've done. We've done things for uh, Kids Matter, which is a local theater group. We've partnered with them. We partnered with the Naperville Chorus, and that Christmas show that you talk about, that's also a benefit for Toys for Tots. So
Oh,
when you come next year, if you bring a toy, they have collection baskets out in front. And so we try to do stuff like that. And I also reach out to, I think we did something for Lamb's Fold, which is
mm,
another group that we've done. We did things with the Naperville YMCA. Um, and our jazz festival that we do is some of the help that we get comes from the city of Naperville through the Sika Fund, which is a great organization, and they help out a lot of not-for-profits in our area as well. But I like to try to give back as often as I can, and especially in things that involve kids, like Toys for Tots. I think that's a great thing for us to get involved with, since we do so much work with children.
it really is, and I commend your group for doing that because it's important to give back. You know, there's a lot of people that are are needing things in this world, and you know, when we can give back even a little bit or organize something, an event where other people can also join in and give, everybody benefits from that. So that's a very good
Right.
thing. So Pete, you have a new project that have just dropped. I have
Oh, yeah.
I've had the pleasure to listen to every track on your new CD, and it's called For Pete's Ache. It is 11 tracks, and man, I'm going to tell my listeners right now, go out there and to iTunes, wherever you get music from these days, and look for Pete Ellman Big Band. The CD is called For Pete's Ache. You will not be disappointed. Pete, I noticed this had to be a labor of love for you. How did this CD come about?
Well, here is the CD. I don't know if you can see that at all, but we started doing it. I was encouraged by a couple of people, but Roger Ingram, I mentioned him earlier. He gave me a lot of encouragement to go into the studio and do this, and he also helped with us mixing it. We went into the studio last January. I think January 3rd and 4th, I want to say. I went to Electrical Audio in the city and did it. Jim Massoff was our engineer. He did a great job. We were able to record all of us at the same time because it's a large studio, and a great sound. So that was when we recorded it. Then we had some stuff that we had to do after the fact, and because it's not my only job, I kind of did it a little bit here, a little bit there, and then all of a sudden COVID came, and that stalled us for a while.
Right.
But we're lucky enough to get it out here. Just in November is when we released it. And the cool thing about this album is most of it is original songs. Many of them written by Dan Moore, who used to be the band director at Naperville North High School, and now he's retired. But there's other original arrangements of some standard tunes on there as well. And we tried to mix it up a little bit, make it so that there's everything from up-tempo things to ballads on there. And we have like the first song on there is called High Speed Pursuit. It's kind of like a cop show theme. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun. And then we have right after that, it's a Barry sax solo. It's thing that Ted Hogarth arranged for us, and he plays Barry sax on it. It's a beautiful song. And so as time went on with this, we were able to get it so that we're looking to release it earlier, but it took us maybe 6 or 7 months longer than we thought to get it released. And you can also get the CD if you want to get a hard copy of the CD. You can get it at forpetesache.com. And I'll send it out to you personally.
Okay, that's forpetesache.com. And one thing that I love about this sound is, I know you guys for being primarily big band, and I was listening to some of the tracks, and it sounded very jazzy to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that song. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing, which was composed by Duke Ellington, right? And
Correct.
and then you guys arranged it so that it had the jazzy sound, but it also incorporated the big band sound, and I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, and it's the vocal. It's the one vocal that we have on the album. Rich Clark does a great job, and that's a great chart. And that was arranged by Matt Harris. He's not in our band, but he does a lot of arranging. Great musician. And that's a great. It's kind of a Latin style of "It Don't Mean a Thing."
Right.
It's a tune.
Exactly. And then there was another one, a song that I know about. I believe it's called "Take the A Train," the quickest way to get to Harlem. It was,
Right.
I believe, it was composed by Dizzy Gillespie back in the day.
Yep.
Right. And
Yeah.
you guys
no, actually, Duke Ellington as well.
Oh, Duke was the one that composed it?
Mhm.
Okay.
But Dan Moore took Manteca, which is Dizzy Gillespie, and A Train and combined them. So it's the name of the song is Manteca, the A Train. That's the name.
So
it's pretty
that's
cool.
yeah, it is very cool. That's what happened. Okay. I did recognize the song. And then you have Dos Cinco Juan.
Yes.
And that
And
has, yeah, go ahead.
That's a Latin song, obviously, but it's kind of a musical innuendo on there. Dos Cinco Juan stands for 251, which is a chord progression that you hear a lot in music, and so that's why it's called Dos Cinco Juan.
That's right.
251.
251. It took my wife to explain that to me when I was when I was telling her about the songs on there, and she's like, Dos Cinco Juan. That sounds like 251. And then she told me what you just told me as well.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Snooki and Bumbles.
Yes.
That's an interesting.
That's another one by Dan Moore. It's a lot of fun. It's got a kind of a bebop style head on it, and those are the nicknames that he gave his daughters when they were little. Snooki and Bumbles. Those were the nicknames he gave his daughters, and he wrote that song to dedicate to them.
Fantastic. I really love the way the blends of big band and jazz. I detected notes of Latin type style music. Just a wonderful project. But I do want to ask you about the title song, For Pete's Ache. How did you choose that one?
Well, it just seemed like a great title for an album. And years ago, I asked Dan, I said, I want a song that I can do, because each week I'll introduce the guys in the band, because we usually have new audience members when we have this kids opening for us. And I wanted a song that we could play, it'd be kind of like Johnny's theme for us, where it would be an intro, and then there would be a spot where we could vamp, and I could introduce the guys. And once I got done with introducing them, we'd go back and finish the rest of the song out. And that's what Dan came up with. And he came up with the title too, which is really cool, For Pete's Ache.
Okay.
And it's spelled ACHE, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, that made me think. I said I could have asked Pete if anything hurts for Pete.
Just my heart right now. I wish we were playing again.
Yeah, yeah. So Pete, what's next for Pete Ellman's big band?
Well, that's a good question. Um, Hopefully, the place that we've been playing for the last couple of years, La Quinta de los Reyes, is able to survive through COVID here. And once we get the vaccine out and stuff, when people are able to start going out and doing something somewhat normal again, hopefully we'll be able to start playing there. And by the way, if you want to help them out, they have DoorDash and Uber Eats, and they have curbside pickup. So, and it's La Quinta de los Reyes in Aurora, Illinois. So if you're in that area, call them up and get some food. It's great food. I think you'll enjoy it. But so we have that. Hopefully we'll get back to doing that. The Jazz Festival is something else that we're really looking forward to getting up and going again. And then as far as recording goes, we're toying with the idea of maybe doing a holiday album next year. So we'll see what happens.
Wow, my eyes just got bright. That would be excellent. That would be excellent.
Yeah.
And if you do get a chance to perform at North Central College, you can also promote that CD there. I'm sure that will be help. Sure. I'm sure that would help the sales as well.
Yeah, and if we did that, maybe we would give a portion of the sales to Toys for Tots or something like that. That'd be a good cause.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Pete, if anyone wants to find out more about you or contact you, what are your contact websites? Anything you can share?
Sure. Our website is www.pebb.net. So Pete Ellman Big Band.net. PEBB.net is our website. Okay. You can get the album there. We also have, this is a long URL, Naperville Big Band Jazz Festival.com. And you can check that out. And once, if we get a date, we'll put up more information. Right now, last year's stuff is still up there because it didn't happen, and we don't know for sure what's going to happen. Although the artists that we had contacted last year to join us have agreed to join us again this year if they're open and it happens. So, and they're awesome. It was Tommy Igo's a phenomenal drummer. Wayne Bergeron, world-class trumpet player, who, by the way, grew up in California with Roger Ingram, our current lead trumpet player. So it's kind of a neat story. They were in the honor jazz band back in California together when they were kids. And then, let's see, who else? Oh, Dennis de Blasio from Maynard Ferguson's band, and wonderful, wonderful saxophone player.
Fantastic. Now, I do have to ask one more question. I forgot to ask this earlier. Is this your first album
This is
written?
This is my first album.
Pete, what took you so long?
That's a good question. It's hard to organize a big band getting into the studio and stuff. And I wanted to make sure that we did it right. We could have done where you put in one section at a time, but I wanted to get all of us in there together so you get the electricity of people playing and making music together. And so there was a little expense involved, and also the scheduling of getting 20 people in the same room at the same time.
Okay. So that was. Well, I hope that this Christmas project comes to fruition and you can get it out sooner than later, because I think the music is excellent and people will want to purchase it and listen to it. And it's a very good thing. So Pete Ellman Big Band, you are definitely creating real and moving art. Thank you so much for being on Drama Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me, Calvin. Have a great day. Oh, Can I mention something really quick?
Sure,
There's a
Pete.
couple of stores in Naperville where you can get our album.
Oh, yeah, please.
Oswald's Pharmacy. Yeah, Oswald's Pharmacy. They've been in Naperville forever, and Anderson's Bookstore. Those are a couple of places you can buy the CD at their stores as well.
Okay,
So,
and both of them are in Naperville?
yep. And
Okay,
of course, our music store, Ellman's Music Center, you can get it there as well. And that's on 508 West 5th Avenue.
fantastic. Fantastic. Well, that's about it, y'all, for this episode of Drama Talk Radio. Pete, thank you so much for coming on, being our guest, and please come back when you have another project that we can help promote for you.
I'd love to do it. Thanks for having me, Calvin.
You're quite welcome. Well, I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and it's always imparting that we take 2 steps to the rear and get on out of here until the next episode. Exit stage left.